Rick Doc Walker, a veteran of 9 NFL seasons, distinguished himself on the football field with his blocking and timely pass catching. Doc was a starting tight end for Coach Joe Gibbs on the 1982 NFL World Champions Washington Redskins. He developed the concept of the Skins Fun Bunch and was an original member of the famed offensive lineman known as the Hogs, playing for Coach Dick Vermille's UCLA Bruins as well. Rick received Lineman of the Year honors in 1977 and became a Rose Bowl champion. Also that year, the Associated Press, AP, honored Rick as an All-American. As a broadcaster, Rick has a college football television analyst, or has been a college football television analyst for ESPN, the Big East Network, and the ACC, as well as a color analyst for the NFL on CBS Westwood One Radio. Currently, Rick is the sideline reporter for the Washington Redskins, co-host of the Doc and Galdi show on the Team 980, and host of Doc Walker's ProView on YouTube. Selling Power magazine chose Rick Doc Walker as one of the region's top motivational speakers. For speaking engagements, Rick specializes in corporate team building and sales training. Rick is the president of ABC Technical Solutions Incorporated, Washington, D.C. He was awarded the George Michael Excellence in Media Award and the Thomas G. Corcoran Award for the University Club of Washington, D.C. He's a member of the Shirley Povich Center Advisory Board, Executive Committee of the D.C. Touchdown Club, and Washington, D.C. Sports Hall of Fame Selection Committee. As an event chairman, he has helped the Muscular Dystrophy Association, Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, and the Alzheimer's Association, the Arthritis Foundation, and the Walking with Anthony group. Currently, he hosts the annual National Kidney Foundation golf event. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome Mr. Rick Doc Walker.
Thank you. How's everybody doing? Mr. Lou Holder is here, one of my heroes, who I did not know. It's the first time I've been here on campus. I always make it my business. I didn't know anyone here but Lou, and I didn't even know Lou knew about this. It was, to me, a blind email about a request to come out to where young people were interested in investing in their future. So as a former knucklehead, and not that you're far brighter than I am, and whereas at this time, I always look for an opportunity to come out and at least share with you something that may shortcut your journey. Because life is about traveling on a journey. Now, you may think you know where you want to go, but when I was your age, I didn't. But I had a concept. What you have got to do, and I go, is I might not even have been smart enough to come to the seminar like this. So half the battle is beaten because you're here, although these chairs aren't full. I'm used to speaking to a capacity crowd. The fact that these aren't full, it tells me I know I might not have showed up at your age at the same time. So I applaud you for taking that step. To get something, you got to go and put yourself in a position to get lucky, to earn something. Nobody's alike, nothing's equal, nothing's fair. Nobody owes you anything, nothing. But if you want to do something with your life that makes you a little bit unique, allows you to do some things that maybe your parents did not do, then you're at the right place. Because you got a lot of people in your crew, or your friends, or your circle of influence, or however you want to say it, that aren't here, that could have been here with you. You have classmates that opted out of this. So in order to get the prize, you got to make yourself available. I learned a lot from my mother. Biggest influencer in my life is my mom. Church woman, usher, forever. She did a lot of things that impact my life. The number one thing she did was I was into athletics most of my life. Not because I thought sports was great, but it was a way for me to get out of construction work with my old man, who was a Marine. I learned very early in life that the only thing they would give me a break out of, or give me some room out of, was if I had a game. He was on a construction site. I found out part of life you want to learn is what you're not built for. I'm not built for physical labor. I wasn't designed for hard labor. That's what I determined for myself at 12. I played baseball was my number one sport. My passion was baseball, always was baseball. Because it was a cerebral sport. We would score charts, games. In Little League, we had signals. So at 10 years old, I was taught a strategy with signals. Yet there's high school football players here. Some of you may have played high school football, and the quarterbacks are running over to the coaches to get the plays. We was doing this at 10 and 11 years old. So I always thought baseball was a thinking man's sport, and it got me out of work, construction work, because all I had to do was tell my mom, I got a game. And they all went, oh, okay. So as you might have been able to pick up, I played every sport. Because every sport kept me away from having to do stuff I didn't want to do. So a lot of people, everybody's story is different. It's my obligation. I just want to be very clear that I was just like you. As a matter of fact, you were probably better off than I was. So it can happen to anybody. Now, it is one of a million when people start talking about pro sports. That was the last thing from my mind. I never even thought about pro. I didn't care. I only went to one pro game. The church took us to see the Browns and Rams, and the church took me to see the Dodgers play St. Louis. I was a Dodger fan, baseball guy. What I'm saying to you is that there was nothing special about my family, our upbringing, our community that put me in a position to ultimately, be at UCLA, play pro ball, win. But the fact that I decided what I didn't want to do, and it opened me up for opportunities to find out some things I kind of like. That makes sense? I was trying to get out of work playing a game, which ultimately I was able to turn that into a profession. I had no intentions of playing pro ball. I was looking forward to work. All I knew is that I like money. And I like the ability to get what I want when I want to get it. But my father died when I was 17. My father was an alcoholic. He was a Marine. He did the best he could. But society and the world, coming up as an African American when he was in the service, they were not treated equally or the same. So I learned that the world is different. And every one of you will be dealt with on an individual basis. Some people your age are already in the blame game. I'm a woman, I'm brown, I'm black, or whatever. I have zero sympathy for you whatsoever because of the way I came up. I didn't even know we didn't have anything till I went to college. I didn't know we were broke until I went to college. Because my mom did a hell of a job of making sure I was never hungry. I never missed a meal. I didn't even know people miss meals. She dominated with making about $20,000 a year. We're in Southern California. I never knew we didn't have anything until I went to college. So what I'm saying to you is that I believe that it's possible for anybody to succeed in anything as long as they will not fight themselves through the process. And what I'm going to do, and it ain't going to take long, is to get you to buy into the fact of not denying yourself a chance to be successful. That's if you want to be successful. Not everybody wants to be. I've been doing this a long time. I've been to places and asked people where they see themselves. Some of them say, hitman, gangster, thief. I perfect any, nothing but respect for whatever profession you choose. All you need to know is that some of these, if you fail, the penalty is incarceration. Now, how many of you have been inside of a jail, just to see, not in jail, but have been inside of a jail, seen the inside of a jail? Raise your hand, please, if you have. Okay, for those of you that haven't, all I needed to do was see that once. And you know what got me? Was the fact that the commode was sitting in the center of the room. I'm like, hold it. What? So I said then, this ain't me. So you found out two things about me you may not have known. Physical, hard labor, not interested. And not interested being on a commode in the middle of a cell with strangers. Okay? And I really don't like to be told what to do. That's another thing I'm not real big on. I can follow instructions, but I kind of like to really write my own plan. But I found out when you don't have any money, you don't write anything. You follow instructions. So my goal has always been independence because I don't really like following orders. You got to know who you are. Now, you will change. I'm much different now at 64 than I was when I was your age. Because you will learn. I was never afraid to fail. The one thing you'll know is that it's okay to make a mistake. You just can't make a big one. You know what anybody here can describe to me what a big mistake is? What's a big mistake? Yeah, making a wrong move in an intersection with the cars coming on, you get T-boned. A bad mistake. Some mistakes don't cost you much. Some mistakes cost you your life. You got to figure out how lucky do you feel. I know some of you right now, and there's an element, and because there's somebody in here who was just like me, just trying to figure out how I know what I know and can I relate to you. One, I'm not trying to do anything. I'm just telling you what's real and what happened in my life in hopes that it might spark you. How many of you here want to be in business or see yourself running a business and being involved in business? Do you want to be in business? Can I ask you why you want to be in business? Anybody tell me why do you want to be in business? Anybody? You don't want to work for someone else, okay? You want multiple streams. I need other more. Yes. You don't want someone else writing your checks, okay? There's no wrong answer. There's no wrong answers with me. It would only be wrong if you didn't have a response. As long as you have a response, you're good. I wanted to be in. And I rushed in. And sometimes if you rush in, you'll get rejected out. See, I do what I do now because a lot of people in the industry come out and speak. They say, well, what kind of speaker are you? I say, I'm an effective speaker. Are you a motivational speaker? I'm not here to motivate anybody. If you want to stay stuck on stupid, be my guest. You want to be broke the rest of your life? Be my guest. Won't affect me one iota. What I am here to do is to tell you that you can fail in life and recover. That you cannot look like the masses look and still make it. I'm here to tell you that the most important thing for you to do is to be you. But you got to do it by the law. I'm a proponent for not breaking laws. Because part of you succeeding in life will be if you're disciplined enough to do the right thing. Without discipline, you'll probably end up incarcerated. Without discipline, you probably won't ever make it to the top of your class or the top of your team. Without discipline, you're going to have you're playing Russian roulette with life. Okay, unless you're born into real money, you pretty much going to have to be stuck. You're going to have to follow rules and do it somebody else's way. You're in America. Only thing that buys you out is cash. If you don't have cash, big cash, then get in line with everybody else. because you can't buy your way out unless you got big cash. If you want to beat the system, some people do. I believe that there's just as many people that are geniuses that are in prison as there are on Capitol Hill. Somebody just went a different direction. I don't judge anybody. All I want to know is that, are you willing to compete? There's several, I can already tell you whether you're going to fail or succeed at this. And like most of you have treated your teachers in life, you've held your teachers hostage. You've threatened your teachers to teach you. I dare you to teach me, because I know who I am, and you ain't. Don't quit faking yourself out. You ought to be glad somebody's willing to invest the time in you and to be patient enough, because they realize you don't know what you're talking about. Neither did I at your age. But what you have got to learn how to do is be a very good listener and to become very good at taking notes, unless you have a photographic memory. Because if you don't find a way to take something out of everything that happens in your life and make it work to your advantage, it's going to be hard for you to make it to the winner's circle. Okay, 7 key mindsets. Now there's nothing designed for everyone, because I had no idea even who my audience was. What I do for a living like this is in a corporate environment where I would have gone in, I would have met the people in charge. They're a company, they're trying to make money. See, because I'm a capitalist, okay? I am doing what I need to do to increase my income level so that I can have the power to do what I want to do. That's my game. That's why I'm here. Well, why are you here? There's no money in it. Because one of the most influential people in my life was Jim Womack. He was my Little League coach. He was a white guy that did not live in my community. We didn't have a car. Jim came and picked me up and took me to practice. And I had a really bad attitude because I was very aggressive. And if we lose, I just couldn't handle, I was that competitive. He never yelled. He was a quiet person who taught me by not yelling that if I got kicked out of games, I would never, ever get to play. If I didn't get to play, I may never go to college. So at 10 and 11 years old, I'm going, okay, I forgot to leave. I left something out. Every game we won, he took me to McDonald's. In my family, you know how many often we went out for like a fast food? Try once every 2 months. Y'all running around now with all these drive-thrus or whatever. In the 60s, if we got to go to Kentucky Fried Chicken, that was like going to Morton's. And all of you to go through these fast foods with your parents, and you customize and order, and we weren't allowed to do nothing but say what you want to get to call a number and eat whatever was in it. Y'all coming through, oh, no ketchup, take the onions off mine. Y'all high sedity. We were glad to be in the car. This man took me there. Every game we won, I got to go to McDonald's. Now, the burger was 15 cents back in the day. It was 15 cents when I was growing up. We were 18-2. I got hooked on winning because I found when you win, people were nicer to you. When I won, I got to go to McDonald's. When we lost them 2 games, he took my behind straight home. See, I know y'all don't eat sandwiches. I'm from the sandwich era. When you come home, you go fix yourself a sandwich. Okay? I've also been in there where there was no bread. You all think milk is automatically accompanied with cereal. We put water and sugar on flakes before. Okay, so you do what you have to do. And then all of a sudden some guy says, oh, you're pretty good at this. We won. And I start finding out my mom her weakness was that she enjoyed seeing me compete. She was really cool, never missed a game. worked a snack bar 20 years after I left. I'm here. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know that Lou was even here till a week ago. But I know that I have an obligation and make a commitment to do things to help people like someone helped me for nothing. You don't make any money coaching. You lose money coaching. I know because I've coached 10 years in the DMV. It costs you to coach. Because one of y'all going to be hungry. Ain't nobody going to be home at your house. I've been through this. You have an obligation to put back into your community or wherever you're from for absolutely nothing other than the right to do it. And the more you give, the more you will receive. And all I'm after, and I'll get it, I'll probably exceed my numbers. I'll have one of you 10 years from now come up and discuss what happened today. And the rest of you, if you fall asleep, stay asleep. You know, if you get up and want to walk out, do me a favor, goodbye. Because it doesn't affect me one iota. Because see, I live by code. I've already got my game plan. I'm following it. And I'm getting better and better and better at it. Because I'm still learning the game. So you can't hurt my feelings. There's nothing you can do that really will affect me other than learn something, write a note down, remember something, and make a commitment to duplicate my efforts in your world. And you may see somebody that needs your help, and you'll be there for them. Now, help comes in all different forms. It may be homework help, maybe driving them to somewhere. It may be helping them with gear, whatever. All I'm saying is that we got to live by rules in this society. A society that's not designed for most of us. In mind, when this was all created, we were not even in anybody's mind whatsoever. And yet you can make progress and you can succeed as long as you're willing to throw yourself in it. So, quickly, define your goals and commit. I believe, and I live by a code. The code is establishing goals. There's nothing permanent, but you always have to have an agenda and an objective. And one thing is, the first thing is it's got to be clear and to the point. And I should have put this on the overhead for you, but clear and to the point. Now, clear. Does everybody have an idea of what their goals were for 2019? Did anybody have goals set for 2019? You don't have to. There's no right or wrong. Did anybody here succeed so far? We still got time left in hitting any of your goals in 2019? Okay. Has anybody here ever never established goals? Raise your hand if you've never established goals. Raise your hand if you put your goals on paper for 2019. Who put their goals on paper, wrote it down? You did. Okay, let me tell you something. If you don't write it down, you're wasting your time. Now, I can't tell you why, but I can tell you what I believe. You got to put it on paper, you got to print it, and you got to post it. You know what posting means? Put some tape, put it on a thumbtack. It's got to be visible so someone else can see it. Were you embarrassed? Are you scared to post your goals? I don't care how cool you are. You have got to be able to establish what you want for yourself. Now, we can talk about time limits and all that, but I wouldn't deal with people. And when I go into a corporate environment, they're not able to establish goals. I wouldn't accept the gig. We're wasting my time because you're going to fail. You might get lucky 1 month or 1 year, but overall, I know where you're going to end up in, the loser line. And the loser line means you're struggling when the only reason you're struggling is because you failed to be disciplined and to establish goals. I want it printed and posted. The second thing is that after it's clear and to the point, printed and posted, anybody here have a diary? I don't, never did. But anybody have a diary? You have a journal. Dude, I'm in envy. I never could figure out that people disciplined enough to write into their journal about what they did well. I was also scared. Somebody find this. And I write the real stuff in here. I was too worried about getting busted. So, but I really admire the discipline. I'm trying to acquire that skill. I'm failing miserably, but I really like that you're able to be disciplined and chronicle where you are. The third step for me, so first, clear and to the point. Second, they got to be printed and posted. Third, they have to be accepted by all involved. How many here have an early class, have early classes before? Okay. Anybody here afternoon agenda? You have afternoon. Suppose the afternoon course wasn't offered other than in the morning. How would it affect you? It would. How about if the morning courses you're taking were only available in the afternoon? How would that affect you? Would it be a game changer? It would. Okay, but then you would be faced then with a decision as to how do I make this work? And then maybe you don't accept that as a goal. Maybe you change your goal. You got to buy in. I was a part of a couple of groups as a player. It's silly. A lot of things you do in life are silly. Just like this thing, like Fun Bunch, group of guys, we jumped, had a high five when somebody scored. Silly, but powerful. Part of a nickname, a group called the Hogs. Sounds stupid. Grown men dressing up like pigs, now so did. But it galvanized the entire community. By seeing things that don't make a lot of sense, but being a part of something that becomes special, it's what separates you. I lost, in 1981, we were 0-5 here. This team just won its first game. They're terrible, okay? But they found a way to win after a change. They had a change in coaching, same guys, and they had a different outlook. By 1 point, don't matter, win's a win. 100 points or 1 point. What happened in 7 days that they could not accomplish in 7 weeks prior? Same people. Mind. It changed how they think, how they view things. They were able to give more of themselves. How many of you here ever slept in class? All right, put him, Lou line. Lou slept in class. Okay. Lou, you've never slept in a class. Okay, thank you. He ain't slept in a class. Some of the best sleep you can ever get is in a classroom or church or somewhere where, but also if you've ever been slapped awake, like I have in church by my mom, I'm telling you, you take a risk every time you sleep. I've been doing this a long time. I have never had an audience where somebody has not fallen asleep on me. It's one of the things that drives me to this day. Never, ever have I been able to capture everybody's attention and them to be focused. Now, I love it. I'm actually bragging about a stat that you think this is crazy. People have slept, yeah. But because I have never been able to keep an audience alert and in tune and on point, I keep coming out going harder, trying to get better at it. Because I am in the midst of perfecting a skill set. Now, the people that fall asleep, they feel bad. I wake them up. A couple of my boys here, they done nodded on me. It's cool. I go, they go, oh, no. Look, people, you have somebody sick at home, you're a parent, kid could have been up all night. This is the afternoon gig. Some people start at 4 or 5 in the morning. There's a number of reasons. Here's one reason I know it's not, that I'm not interesting. That's never the point. I make sure of that. It's just at that time, it's not the right timing for the person. So you can't control everything. I could look at it like, how could they? No, I blame me. I got to get better. I got to get better at what I do. If you assume responsibility for small failures, you'll avoid big failures. But if you're a finger pointer and it's always somebody else, you know somebody like that. Well, guess what? Your friends do too, and they point at you. Every time you say, yeah, that ain't me, but I know somebody, they doing the same thing. They're saying the same thing about you when you're not there. Gold, clear to the point, must be printed and posted. Must involve everyone that accepts it. We're all in. Fourth thing, timelines. Anybody here work? Anybody have a job, part-time job, full-time job? You got jobs. Anybody with their hand up not know when payday is? You know when payday is, right? That's what I figured. You always know the date you get paid. I want you to take that same vigor into when the deal gets accomplished. When are you going to finish the paper? When are you going to read the chapter? When are you going to do what you have to do? I need that same enthusiasm that you're getting paid with for you to grind. I'm going to get to grinder. And the fifth thing for me is that you should be rewarded when you succeed. And you got to deal with the consequences for failure. I believe that everybody should be punished for crimes and rewarded when they do things that are great. And if you do something that helps more than one person, you should become filthy rich. When you do things that help the masses, you should become filthy rich. You know there's a reason why most people that hit the lottery are broke within 2 years of that. Do you understand that to be a fact? Google it. That's what I love about audiences now. Back in the day, you'd have to say, trust me. Now, I just go, Google it. If you don't believe me, just Google it. So much easier. Most people fail when they get large amounts of money unexpectedly or happen at one time. You know why they fail with the money? Because they don't understand how to manage money. I talk a lot about money in everything. I talk about money all the time because money is the things a lot of people determine their value by. Don't ever let money determine your value. You are always more important, more valuable than money. If you start buying into value, the money makes you valuable, then when you lose it, guess what else you lose? You lose yourself. I was valuable bankrupt or not bankrupt, with money or not money. Once I understood the power was here, was me. And you got to learn to do that on your own for whatever you are that you're good at. I have 3 boys, and you guys on the phones a whole bit. I tell them I wouldn't trade my childhood with them for nothing in the world. And they had a bathroom in their bedroom. We had a bathroom in the whole house. We had one of everything. One TV, one bathroom, one telephone in the whole house. I'm not mad. I'm not hating. They had air conditioning. I had a window and a fan. Okay? But what I have over my kids, and I have over all y'all. I went outside and played every day. I was outside doing something every day of my life. I understood my community because I was actually in it. I got one kid now. We could be living on a quarter of an acre. He don't go nowhere. He don't do nothing but play video games on the phone all the time. I feel bad for him. This dude he's a gamer. He's on the phone, and he don't walk a half a mile a day. That's forcing him. I used to throw my kids out the house when they were living with me. They go, well, why we got to go outside? And I say, because I said so. And keep your behind out for at least an hour. They say, what are we going to do? I don't care what you do. Get out the house. And you look and you think I'm crazy. That's real talk. And then I'd run them. I'd make them run. They couldn't wait. You know what I was doing? I wanted them to make sure they had no plans of staying with me beyond 21. There's no way, if you'd have talked to them, Now, there's still one there. I'm working on getting rid of him, okay? Because I need you to get out here in the marketplace and then realize, because I'm hurting you. I'm going to hurt you. You know, oh, I lost my wallet. Okay, I'm going to give you 10. Oh, I'm out of gas. I'm going to help you out. The world, they ain't going to do nothing to you or nothing for you. See, they don't have no affection for you. They don't owe you anything. So if you don't have the skill set to survive on your own, with your mind and your body, your spirit, and more importantly, your soul, you got to have one, then you're going to make it very difficult for you to succeed. You can pull it off. I never say never. Just like the Skins, people said they 0-5. I said they'll win. They got to win. Couldn't go 0-16. It's possible. They found a way to get over that. I'll ask you this before I get to this. How many of you here, if you consider your life to be on the scoreboard, what's the score? To me, life is a scoreboard. I always think there's a running clock. See, there's always a running clock in my mind. And I always look up to see, where am I at? How much time is left? You don't know how much time is left. But you are on the clock. I look at life a lot in sports, even to non-athletes. You're easy, because I feel like we've come from the same thing. But with the non-athletes, bankers, it don't matter. I teach them the metaphor because I think it's very important. You're an athlete, use it to your advantage. Down and distance means everything. Time on the shot clock is very important. Where you are when you take a shot is important. Is it a layup or is it a three-point shot? The percentages of making a layup are obviously a lot greater than taking the three-point shot. So you want to turn life into a game, you want to make layups. Now, the next thing I'm going to say, how's your offhand? See, because if you're right-handed and you can't go to your left, you ain't scoring if I'm defending you. Because I'm going to take away what you do best. So in life, I want you to be ambidextrous, good with either hand, left or right. Make sense? I don't want no holes in your game. If you're a baseball player and you're batters, you ought to be a switch hitter. You ought to be able to hit from the right or the left. Why wouldn't you? It's an acquired skill. You can learn it. You're not born not being able to hit from the other side. You just allow your brain to stay stagnant enough, and so it is underdeveloped. You can be ambidextrous. You can be a switch hitter in baseball. You can do anything you develop your mind to do. It's all conditioning. It don't matter your nationality. It means nothing. Give yourself a chance in life by opening up your mind. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, a mind once expanded can never contract to its original. It's all on you. The question is, how greedy are you? See, I'm greedy. One thing about ladies, females, that I always enjoy, I love a woman that's spoiled. Now, I don't say that publicly to my wife, although this is on tape, thank God. I hope she never gets it. I love women that are spoiled. You know what spoiled means? You're just used to getting your way. I never understood people, oh, she's so spoiled. To me, that means, hell, I want to be spoiled too. I want to be used to getting what I want. But for men, it don't work that way. This is where the provider and the hunter, it don't work. But a woman that never settles, she don't settle. She gets what she wants or shops closed. That is something that you can look and develop and go, ooh, that's a great position to be in. To have an asset and be in control of the asset. And to understand that everybody has an ability. Anybody here think that they're, based on their nationality, their size, their net worth, that they have no chance to be successful in America? Please raise your hand. You don't think you have no chance to be successful? And look, it's not a wrong answer. I'm not an instructor, right or wrong. You pass with me. What's important is that you express it. Because believe me, somebody over here felt the same way. They didn't have the guts or courage that you have to express it. So please. Yeah, it does, because if you didn't have the pressure, because you said you have to, means you will. If you had told me you wanted to, I'd have said you got no chance. Because you don't get what you want in life. You get what you work for in life. So the fact that it's that simple. I asked my mother in 1968, I said, think we'll ever have a black president? She says, absolutely. I laughed. I said, and to this day, I said, that'll never happen. When I was on the Metro coming from Vienna, Virginia, to come to Barack Hussein Obama's inauguration, I called her and said, I never believed you about one thing. And you were right. I came home in 1963 or 4, and everybody in my house was crying. I said, why are you in tears? And when they said John F. Kennedy had been assassinated. Hell, I didn't know you knew him. When did you meet him? And they said, we didn't. That's when I learned the power of influence. He's a white man that in an African-American community I was in, everybody was in tears. None of them had ever met him. That taught me, I said, man, that's a powerful thing, to be that strong. And then when Dr. Martin Luther King was assassinated, you would have thought that it happened on my lawn. You would have thought that was a murder scene. That's how emotional and how broken up everybody was. Not only in my home, the whole community. Bobby Kennedy was assassinated. See, y'all lucky. You playing games and you worried about the new iPhone. When I was your age, people were getting towed up from the floor up because they wanted equality. This country was so racist and so backwards. And they were fighting then. You think this is tough. This is nothing. Because they were suppressing people's right to vote, right to learn, right to do things that you are taking advantage of as a result of those efforts. People say, oh, is it political? No, it's life. It's life. And if you don't know your history, then it's the biggest and most disrespectful thing you could do to those like Rosa Parks, who refused to sit in the back of a bus, that changed things that have made your life or give you the opportunity to be educated at a beautiful facility like this. This would have never happened had people not stood up for something and it didn't even affect them. Half the people I discussed were from billionaire families. So if you ever decide to hate on money, be careful what you do. Make it an individual situation. Don't lump people into things. Because some of the very people you dog in might be the single reason that some people are here and right now. All right, establish your goals. We went through it. Establish a game plan for success. We've touched it. Use your gauges. We did not touch it. What is a gauge? Somebody tell me what a gauge is. 3, 2, 1. You, sir. What's a gauge? It's beautiful. Anybody here flown? Anybody in there? Aircraft? Anybody fly? Pilots? Okay, you've been in. You know the gauges? A gauge tells you where the oil is. You have them in your cars. Fuel gauge, oil gauge, speed gauge. It's just something that allows you to monitor where you're at. I came up and did a whole series on a deal, this literature on gauges, because women, for the most part, if their needle goes in the red because they get checkups more frequently than men. Everything I talk about is health and wellness related, because if you don't take care of yourself, why work yourself to the point? Without your body, spirit, and mind, you're not going to succeed. So it's a whole package. If you don't pay attention to your gauges, you might run out of gas if your gas gauge doesn't work. You know how I know? Because it happened to me. My first car was a 1968 Volkswagen. The gas gauge was broke. My mom gave me $22 to get it fixed. I kept the $22 and said, I don't need a gas gauge. I just remember when I fill it up, where you going to go when you're in your hometown? You don't go nowhere for the most part. And then we had an idea one night, hey, let's go to Vegas. And I was like, yeah, I'm in. There's a sign. Anybody on the West Coast? Raise your hand if you've been to the West Coast. It's in here. Okay. You've been to Las Vegas from California? Yeah. You've done that? Yes. Okay. So you know the sign. Yeah. It says, last for 100. I'm driving the Volkswagen. I'm younger than y'all at the time. So I'm leaning. You know, I don't know why when men get in the car, they feel like they got to lean. The lean kind of makes you feel a certain way. It doesn't feel good to be 10-2 like the teacher in driver's ed. That wasn't it. But when I lean, put your hand, boy, you couldn't tell me nothing. And so me and my boy, we fill up the tank. He go, hey man, how's the gas? I went, I think we're good, dog. I think we're good. He said, now there's no gas for 100 miles. We're in the middle of the desert. Now, I'm not a reptile person at all. I'm scared of a lot of things, but reptiles at the top of the list. I'm envisioning, it was a horrible trip. I thought we was going to run out of gas. We're in the desert. We made it through. I swore it in. I went back and told my mom, I didn't do it. I went and took a job at the place called Neville's Auto Center. And he let me work it off. I said, Neville, I got to get this gauge fixed. I don't have any money, but I'll work here. That's when I learned about solvent, and I learned that I wasn't built for it. Cleaning parts and pulling all that. I just realized I'm not designed for this. It was a bad fit. A, it was hard. B, it smelled terrible. And I just decided I'm not made for this. I couldn't cut it. See, I needed more comfort. My ideal job would have been air conditioning in a building with 2 or 3 breaks and a lunch and computer and access to a coffee and beverage machine, unlimited. That would have been my idea of a pretty good work environment. In other words, I was looking to do as little as possible and get as much as I could get. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Okay, good. Just want to let you know. Now, the gauges, pay attention to it. Who here has had an annual checkup consistently for the last 3 years? Okay, see, not enough hands up. So if I do nothing else today, I've just accomplished something. Get your behinds checked out. Have annual physicals. Get in the habit of being aligned with your body medically. It could save your life. And for the most part, they'll take care of it. It's free. Don't cost you a lot. It's the same thing from a dental standpoint. Everything matters. Okay, you're grown now. You're not babies. You're not kids. You're adults. And I expect you to act like it and live like it so you can be damn good at it. That's mandatory. Be competitive. That's everything. And I don't care if you tell me, well, you have got to be able to compete. Not against your buddy or your enemy, but within yourself. I'm gonna get one or two of you. One or two of you, 10 years, it happens all the time. One or two of you, 10 years from now, 5 years from now, is gonna come up and say, you know what, I was kind of like just out there, and you came and you was talking, you challenged, and I just decided I'm gonna do it. Bingo, light's gonna come on. And I'm gonna just fist dap you, and we're gone. Then I'm gonna tell you though, now you gotta go do it for some other group. That's what it is. I dap you and I say, now it's your turn for you to go and empower and to change, to drop a seed, to do whatever it takes to change somebody else. Adapt the grinder mentality, 24/7, 365. That's my motto. I have clients in a business that I'm involved in, and when I sign them up, whatever I do, when I personally bring somebody into the fold, I said, I'm available 365 days a year, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. I'm always available for you. Now, is anybody in here can commit to 365 days, 24/7 to anything? Can anybody commit to that for a client or another person? Can you commit that to another person? Anybody here capable of doing that? You are? You all in? You single? Okay, you can do it. You can speak for single. Anybody here married can do that? Can you do that married? Huh? You can't do it unless your spouse allows you to. What I'm saying is that if your relationship is not good, you cannot be the best you could be. There's no such thing about you being King Kong and everybody's at home dependent on you. If you're powerful, you need power at home. They have to understand your plan and have to be all in with you or you are ineffective. I'm unbeatable. I know it. I live by a code. I sleep standing up. There's no way you can beat me because you have to sleep. I don't. I'm unstoppable because I've trained myself to be able to do it under any circumstances. If I fail, I'm shocked. If I fail, it's an upset. It's like the worst team beating the best team because that's how I condition myself. Because I don't want to be dependent upon anybody but me. I'm a lion. And I know I got to go and do whatever it takes to make it happen. Now, that's something you don't get overnight. You got to be beaten down to the pulp. You got to be bankrupt and broke and everything going against you and still rise. Anybody can work it on a beautiful day. I walk outside every day for an hour. I'm in the 6th year, 10th month, 17th day of it. Every day. Mandatory. I don't miss it. I can't afford to. Because I know that if I do it every day, and of course it started off 10 guys, nobody's done it. But I do it because I know they're waiting on me to quit. They're waiting on me to miss it. You need people around you pulling with you, and they'll be pulling against you. But you use it all as fuel. If you can't be competitive with your own circle, your brother, your sister, your aunt, uncle, and cousin, you got no chance unless you get lucky and create something with IT. This is a grind you can read. I believe this. Now, my man Willie Jolly, who's DC native, difficult roads often lead to beautiful destinations. A setback is a setup for a comeback. Anybody here failed in anything before? Okay, I failed more than anybody in this room, probably twice as much as any of you. I'm not afraid to fail. Some of you have not achieved what you really want to achieve because you're afraid it won't work. There's some girl or some guy that you got your eye on, but you're afraid to approach her or afraid to approach him. That's what happens. So you know what that tells me? You don't deserve her or him. Because when the time is right, you got to put yourself out there. How competitive are you? And this grinder thing. So all this, you can cut it off. What this means, this is a good one for you young people. Sometimes you have to unfollow people in real life. Now I'm talking your language now. Because the only reason I'm on Facebook, Twitter, IG, all that is for business. Because it works for your business. In terms of me telling you what I'm eating, you'll never get that lucky. Okay? And I could care less what you're doing in your personal life. It's strictly business for me. But it's a good platform if you're lonely. Okay? I haven't been lonely since birth. So what I'm saying is that if you are thriving on, you're living by the fact that how many people like you, I'm going to let you know a little secret. None of them like you. Okay? What you need to know is that seeing is believing. The people you put eyes on, that's who likes you. The people who are around you, who are helping you, that's who likes you. The rest of them people don't know you yet. But if you're good at what you do, they'll eventually get to know you. And I'm not mad at it at all. You can tweet and do all you want, all you can do. But there's two kinds of people that tweet. Broke and people that aren't broke. Whatever category you choose to be in, go for it. If it were easy, everyone could do it. Les Brown, he said, when you don't get what you wish for, you get what you work for. We said that. When things go wrong, I love this. He says, don't go with them. I love that. How many of you here have had some friends plan to do something stupid? And then you, at the last second, you decided you're out. They went and did it, and now they're in jail. I know exactly where I was at. I know you ain't lying, because those things you never forget. I'm on Myrtle Street. I know exactly where I'm at. My boy finna go hit a 7-Eleven. Man, they got it sawed up. We can go in. I said, yeah, man, ain't gonna be no thing. There's only one dude in there. You know, the street, we run up on First Street, we in and out. I went, okay. So I started thinking, all right, if I do this, well, man, they probably got about $600 in the damn thing. $600 when you're 14. That's big. I'm thinking, Doris Lucille Walker, don't worry. She's going to wear me out. I was so afraid of her, I said, I'm out. Now, I ain't doing it. Man, yeah, I'm all that. And they drove off. Of course, the guy had a sawed off under his counter as well. Wounded one. They spent 22 years in prison. I never saw him again. 22 years sentence at 14. So these decisions, you got to make them on your own. Because my mom, I was afraid of her, I said, nah, I ain't going to do it. It's okay to be afraid of somebody if it helps you. But every one of us has done something that we didn't get caught at. Don't feel like you're the Pope, okay? Don't fake yourself out. Keep it real and realize you got lucky. Don't play your luck. Don't play your luck. Jim Rohn says you can have anything in life if you just help enough other people get what they want. I know in Christmas, remember when they say, oh, it's nicer to give than to receive. When you were a kid, you ain't having that. Okay? But you love those days if you have a Christmas. Then you become an adult. It's amazing how something that you love so much, you can start to hate it. When you got to wrap stuff, when you got to stand in line to go buy stuff. See, I'm before the online era. Y'all don't go nowhere now. You Amazon, you push buttons, stuff come to you. I'm from the old school that we actually had to go to malls and walk through shopping centers and do all that crazy stuff. But y'all smarter than we were. It's If you can look at this as grinding and not remember anything else, state of mind, the harder you grind, the harder it is to give up. I'll ask you all the time, how bad do you want it? What are you willing to do in order to be the best that you can be? Not the best. I don't know what the best is. The best you can be. That's all you got to do in life. Ben Franklin coined this. He says, well done is better than well said. I've adopted that forever. So just footnotes, just little things. There's no game changers. You're the game changers. But this is fuel, things you can pull from, things you can use, and it just helps you game. Questions by anyone? And you don't have to ask anything. The quicker you don't do this, the quicker I'll be back on the beltway. So don't feel like you bending me over a barrel. But if there's anything that you got the guts to ask about, I've got the guts to answer. Yes, sir. Oh, what happened? Oh, this is Lou Holder. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Mr. Lou Holder.
So like I said, I came here late. So what do you exactly do as a career?
As a career?
Yes, sir.
As little as possible. No, I'm just messing with you. I'm in the media. I work for the Team 980, the Redskins, sideline reporter, company Washington Walker Corporate Consultants. I'm involved in a company called ProView. I started this by stating that I got into sports to get out of labor. It's not that I love sports, it's just that I hate hard work. So I figured I could use my mind, because your body will run out. You run out of talent and you run out of athletic ability. But I knew early on what I wanted to do was just have a really good job. I was never afraid to work. I like business, but business is cruel because you have to depend on others. And people will steal from you. They'll take your clothes off you if you don't wake up. But I like the idea of seeing the public pleased. I was in the restaurant business for 10 years. Thank you. I wanted to be a broadcaster growing up because I wanted to go to the games and get in early and get in free. And I figured working for it, that was nothing, not a problem. And it just happened that way that, again, I was avoiding construction work, lawn work, anything of manual labor. I'm allergic to it. So I said, I want to think my way or talk my way or act my way through this deal. I always wanted to do what I wanted to do. So I really never had a job, although the work is not easy. You may think it is, you're in that part, but you're there 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. But I'd rather do that. I'm fulfilled by it. I get a guy like Lou Holder to come on a radio show. Lou Holder comes on and talks to me on a radio show. And I don't have to pay him. It's a beautiful thing. And so do what you want to do, no matter what that is. Get into that niche. My first game in broadcast was at the DCIAA at Wilson. And I'm like, so I did 2 years of that because you have to learn your craft no matter who you are. I started as an intern at WMAL in 1989. I asked Jim Gillette, who was the manager, could I shadow them? I just wanted to get in to find out if I like it. And since then, that's a long time ago. And then this, for me, a man named Willie Crittenton shared his story with me as a young man. And it altered my life. It impacted me to the point where it gave me good habits. Because he was a pro ball player. He gave me $20 every report card for the attendance, not the grades. He said, if you show up every time, he'd give me a 20. I didn't tell my mom for a while, but I ended up telling her. $20 in the 60s? That was like 100. So what I did when I got here with the Redskins, there's a gentleman, you may know his name is Mike Loxley. It just so happens that when he was 12, he would be in RFK at the parking lot. And he'd come up to my car. So I was giving Lox a couple tickets, and I'd give Lox a $20 bill when he showed me his report card. and he had perfect attendance. So what Willie Crittenton did for me, it just happened to be Mike Loxley. I didn't know who he was, but it ends up being him. And obviously Loxley's gone through, so he'll do it for somebody else. That's my whole point. That was the essence of here. When Lou Holder texted me the other day, hey man, I heard you coming by PGCC, I go, yeah, but I don't even know what's that. I've never been there. He's trying to figure out what I'm doing here like I knew somebody, like I got hooked up. I didn't know anybody here. That's the whole part of what I'm saying. I came out here because somebody did the same thing for me at Santa Ana College or at Santa Ana Valley High School. And when somebody drops some wisdom on me, then I'm obligated to come back and throw out some seeds, and maybe somebody will pick it up and they'll run with it and they'll continue this. Because good news doesn't travel real fast. Bad news is light speed. Bad gossip, we can't wait to tell somebody, hey girl. But somebody, oh, this guy just got an 80 in a paper. That might get by. Sick of him anyway. So usually we say something negative when somebody tells us something good about people. Just the way it is. So I want to lead by example, and hopefully it'll affect somebody in here. I only need one person, and I've succeeded. Anyone else? Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you for being here. It means a lot, and I hope that you find something that turns you on, that excites you, and then follow it. And don't make it about money. Make it about what makes you feel great about you. And if somebody needs to help, grab a hand. But don't be played, okay? Make sure it's real. You give of yourself real, it'll come back. So, Lou, what's our game plan at this point?
So, I will have one more question. I have one question.
Okay, Lou.
Trying to wait to get some direction, but
Lou is what we call in the business, he's stalling right now. He really
no, I'm not
has
stalling. I always had a question to ask you in this forum, right? Because a lot of these students, they don't know. I mean, they don't know that some of you, they don't know that you have a Super Bowl ring and that you've reached the highest levels. But after,
well, because you know why they don't know?
listen, but after,
it's irrelevant.
Right, but after a while, the crowd stops cheering. The things move on, and a lot of these athletes, they can't move on because they don't have any other game plan, right? When did you start to know during your football career that it was time to have that exit strategy? Because a lot of people think that, you know what, I'll be doing this for a long, long time and I can think about it later. Well, when did you know?
Those that took notes, that's why I said earlier, I had no intentions of being a professional player. I didn't do it to become a professional player. I did it because I could. It was fun, and I was planning to work. College was fun to me until they took the ability away from me to study what I wanted to really study because of a sport. But they taught me a lesson. They didn't really care about me. They cared about their team and their production. Anytime you discourage someone that's found something that excites them in academia, and you tell them that they can't go because they're going to miss practice, and it's not even a season, it's called spring ball, that to me is ridiculous. But it taught me a lesson that they didn't care. And it taught me to understand that being an entrepreneur and being in control of my destiny financially is what I had to go do. I had to create me in a way that I could generate income without playing any game. That became my challenge. That they led me to it in a weird way, but that's where it came from for me. I think some people, and I'm not trying to kill your dreams, some people dream about being a professional. I never did. I just want to get paid. I didn't care how it happened. Bob Gibson was my hero. I didn't meet Bob till about 3 years ago at Nats Park. Because my mom let me stay home to watch him pitch 1968 Game 1 against Boston. He was vicious. And for me, he was an African American that was dominant. And we didn't grow up understanding that. To see him be himself, he threw hard inside, and people were afraid of him. They changed the amount. There's only been 3 times in our history that they've changed the rules of sports because of one person. And the weird part about it is that every time it happens, it's a minority. So Bob Gibson, they got to lower the mound. Will Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul, they got to lower, they got to rise the basket. I'm going, what? What is the deal? When other people in other sports, when Babe Ruth hit all them home runs, they didn't do nothing. They kept it to where it was. Soon as Bonds or somebody comes up, now they change everything. So that's how I know people running scared in life when I see every time somebody excels, there's a new set of rules. So don't let it slow you down. Just go after it even harder. And that's just how I live that way based on what they did. I saw them do this. I'm not making it up. It's real. But it taught me that the people in charge can change the rules. So if they never want you to win, you'll never win if you follow them. If you follow yourself and your heart, you can do anything. That's what entrepreneurship is, what it's all about. But without an institution or higher learning, you will not learn how to do it the right way. That's why this is important and what y'all are doing. Is anybody here for free? Is anybody being sponsored to be here? Okay. There are places where people pay, but so you putting out, anybody have to pay anything to come here? Okay, good. So you are paying. Don't ever say no. You're paying in your time. You are paying. If you're here, you are investing in yourself. That's the good thing about it. Anybody else? Coach? God bless all of you. Thank you.